Unit 5, Lesson 1. We're going to start looking at three-dimensional geometry now, and we're going to start with solids of rotation, and we're going to talk about axis of rotation and what that is. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the GeoGebra site, and I have it linked through the document. So if you click on the document, it'll take you right to the GeoGebra site. And here it comes. And our first question was, do not move the slider. Notice that the surface command for each figure specifies which axis will be used to rotate. So that is right down here. Okay, it tells us we're going to rotate figure 1, T1, and we're going to rotate it n degrees, however many degrees that rotation is, and we want to rotate it around the y-axis. So a couple things. This axis that goes back into the computer screen, that's the y-axis. This x-axis goes across the front of the computer screen, and then the z-axis goes up and down. Okay, so a little bit different to look at. So we want to know what's going to happen with this triangle when we rotate it around the y-axis. And my guess is this is going to become a cone. I think this is going to become a cone. So let's start rotating here. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. There it is, rotated 360 degrees around the y-axis. And did it become a cone? Absolutely, it became a cone. Notice you can click and drag up here so you can look at this three-dimensional figure actually in 3 dimensions. And there we go. I believed that this thing was going to become a cone, and it is. And notice that the y-axis is in the center of the cone. So we're going to come back here and let's answer this question. Question 1. Figure 1 believed it became a cone. And something special about that was that the y-axis is the center of the cone. Perfect. Down here, number 2, we're going to predict what solids will be formed by the other shapes. So when we rotate these other shapes, we're done with the first shape. Let's look at the second shape. When we rotate this shape, it looks like a trapezoid, right? It's kind of a trapezoid with this little piece cut out. What's going to happen when that rotates around the x-axis? Right? Notice it says around the x-axis, so that's this axis. What's going to happen is I think this is going to be a truncated cone, and truncated just means that the top is cut off. So when I rotate that, notice it's a cone with the top cut off. So there it is, a cone, and the top's cut off. Now notice in the middle here, it's hollowed out. So that's kind of important. Notice that this little piece that's missing becomes a hollowed out center. So it sort of looks like a Rolo, piece of Rolo candy. So we can answer that. Figure number 2, truncated cone. And I notice the center is cut out. And I also notice that the x-axis was the center of the truncated cone. That's figure 2. Let's take a look at what figure 3 would look like. Let's move this back to kind of where it was. It was right about like this. Figure 3. What's going to happen when I rotate this figure around the x-axis? Well, I think that this is just going to become a cylinder. There we go. We rotate around the x-axis, and notice that just became a cylinder. And the x-axis is the center of the cylinder. So figure 3 became a cylinder. And the x-axis was the center. Figure 4. Let's see what figure 4 looks like. Here's figure 3. Ooh, figure 4. So I'm going to rotate this around the y-axis, and what I want you to notice is there's a gap between the figure that I'm starting with and the axis of rotation. So I think this is going to be a cylinder as well, but I think it's going to be hollow in the middle. It's going to kind of be bored out. Notice, sort of looks like a slinky as it goes around. So it becomes a cylinder with the center bored out. So figure 4 becomes a cylinder. The center is hollow or bored out. And the y-axis is the center of the cylinder. All right, so there we go. That is 11. That is lesson 5.1.2.